Alright, welcome back everybody to another episode of Forsaker DingDing Blade. This is Extra99 and this will be part 2. And we're going to go ahead and get right into this, guys, with Forsaker. The first part was only about 30 minutes long, but I really enjoyed it. It looked really good. It looked really interesting. I thought the writing was pretty well done. The art, the music was very well done. And the main thing is, it was intriguing enough to bring me back for part 2 right here. So we're doing just the story here, guys, the story start. I don't know if just doing the story here is going to have any of the gameplay elements. I think it's just going to be like a straight visual novel. But we're going to find out if there's any gameplay elements in this. Okay, so we know that we've done the prologue, we've done Fate. We're going to go ahead and continue with Ian's chapter. I guess it's his point of view. And we're going to continue with chapter 2 right. Not long after leaving the camp, monsters close in again. The two fight and run, dodging and weaving as they push forward. Despite the constant troubles, Eastertown finally comes into view. Daye is worried and casts a weary glance around, muttering, "If you hadn't slept in, we'd have been here hours ago." Ian sighs. "So, we gotta catch up for lost time. If we're late, honey wine's on me." "Honey wine? That's fancy. Or better yet, just give me 100 silver shields right now. When I hit it big, you'll be rolling in the benefits. Think big picture, buddy." Right. Piss off. 100 silver shields. I don't know much about this, but it sounds like it's an exorbitant amount of money. Just from the sounds of it. "Well, how about 90 silver shields then? Come on, don't be such a tightwad at your age. Look, a guy's gotta spend to earn big." Ian wishes he could stuff his ears with a cloth. A man this talkative deserves to be captured by monsters and silenced for good, oh boy. But no monsters show up, and Daye keeps yapping all the way to Eastertown. After wandering around and asking half the town, they finally find the hidden wine cellar in an alley. And as they step inside, they bump into a towering figure. They have to look up to see his face, but the sight leaves them stunned. Standing nearly 2 meters tall, this man sports a funny pink hat resembling a pink-capped iron tower in the bar. So a meter, I know, is 3 feet. So this guy is nearly 6 feet tall. He looks almost like he would be even taller than that. Okay. 6 feet is still tall, right? With sleepy eyes, he lazily wipes a glass with a cloth while casting them a casual glance. "Yo-hoo! You can't just barge into Hermit's place, boys. This is the finest wine cellar in Eastertown. It's not a place for punks like you. And even if you're here for a drink..." Hermite lowers his voice, winking his left eye. "You gotta be there at night." Daye's eyes sparkle as he leans onto the bar. "Oh, night drinks are different from the day ones?" he plays. "Yo-hoo, of course, day drinks are just sharp blades, but night drinks are soaked in nectar of night blooms." Daye looks like he's found a kindred spirit. "Wow, Hermite, tell me more about the night." "We're not here for drinks, buddy." "Ah, buzzkill," they both say. Hermite lazily wipes another glass. "Yo-hoo, it's quite a disgrace for non-drinkers to come into a wine cellar and ignore all these fine vintages. Besides, I've got an appointment, but my guest appears to be a no-show." And with that, Hermite stretches his neck to take a peek outside. Dai leans in, shoving Ian aside, flashing a big, sincere smile. Well, how rude, totally wasting your time. A rule breaker probably doesn't have much worth taking. Never mind them. Check out this instead. And Dai didn't even take off the bag, but just moved it from his back to his chest and pulled open a corner of the bag towards the boss. Uh-oh. Hermite leans on the counter and peers inside. Wow, a Forsaker severed hand. Well? Dai ties up the bag and slings it back over his shoulder. So, rare stuff, huh? Cost me 5 silver shields just to bribe the gate guards to bring it in. Hermite purses his lips and shrugs. The core was stripped from that corpse long ago. This arm? Just a chunk of waste. You could twist it like a rope and you won't get a drop of fel. Only greenhorns like you would treat it like a treasure. Oh, is that true? Is it absolutely worthless? Dai grins and rubs his hands together. Yeah, I don't think he's persuaded. Not even this impresses you? A true expert, are ya? I guess we come to the right place, sipping fine wine, forging cores. Maybe come back tonight for some nectar, tee. And he bumps him. Hermite chuckles, his pink hat wobbling on his head. Yo-ho, of course, I've forged as many fel cores as I've collected nectar. You've got good taste, kid, and I like that. I'll tell you what, 500 silver shields, special discount. Dai's smile freezes. What? Yeah, look at that face. Hermite blows on the wine glass and wipes it down with a cloth. Even a lower grade Forsaker like this goes for 600 silver shields out there. 500's of steel. And that's just cause I like you. If your buddy here asked, I'd charge him 1,000. Wow. Well, feeling touched? Dai forces a smile, tapping the counter with his hand. 500? We haven't even had a drink yet. You're already talking total nonsense. 500 could get you a whole corpse forged. This is just a severed hand. 50 is more than fair. And didn't you just call this thing common? Now you're charging like it's rare? Hermite squints one eye, holding the glass up to another, peering inside. Then he shifts his gaze over to Dai. What? You got a problem? Yo-ho! I thought you had good taste, but clearly you've never seen the real thing. What's worth anything here isn't that trash. It's my craftsmanship. No coin? Then get lost, and forget core refining. I wouldn't even sell you a drink now. Oh damn. A flicker of anger crosses Dai's face, but he quickly composes himself, forcing out another smile. Haha, come on, overcharging's just bad business. You gotta keep the customers coming back, right, man? Besides, it's just a hand, not a whole body. For an expert like you, this'll be a breeze. Alright, how about this? I'll bump it up to 60. Just toss it in when you're forging other Forsakers and... haha, easy breezy time and effort saved. Hermite puts down his glass and flashes a bright smile at Dai. Yoo-hoo, such a brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of that? Just trying to help you makes things easier, right? Haha. Well, how about you take my job then? Hermite's smile dropped, his gaze now turning cold. Uh-oh. If it's so damn easy, why don't you handle it yourself? Oh, I hate paupers, especially clueless ones. Don't bite off more than you can chew. And forget what I said earlier. 800 silver shields now are no deal. Damn, he just bumped his price up from 500 to 800 because Dai wanted him to go 50 or 60. 800? Dai's eyes widen. Yahoo! That's the price. You can't afford it, then get lost. That's the rule. Damn. Rules, huh? Fine. Here's your 800. Take it. Dai's face darkens as he slams his money pouch onto the counter. Damn, I'm surprised he paid that. Hermite glances at the black pouch, but doesn't reach for it. Are you kidding? That's not even close. That's 800 right there. Count it yourself. Trying to scam me, huh? Are you looking for trouble, kid? He rolls up his sleeves. Dai chuckles. I paid, right? Don't push your luck now. Count it, now! And if it's short, well, this place doesn't look too safe. I'll keep you safe for a few days and call it even for the protection fee. Hermite's eyebrows shoot up, his hair bristling so hard that tilts his pink hat. How dare you, a punk trying to shake me down? You think my muscles are just for show? Haha, you're gonna protect me? You're way out of your league, buddy. Dai sneers, pulling out the severed hand and pointing its raised index finger at Hermite's head. I guess I gotta flash some skills, eh? Forging your thing, but protection? Now that's my specialty. Hermite swings a fist straight at Dai's face, determined to throw the punk out of his shop. But the fist suddenly stops, caught mid-air by the hand. Ian holds steady against the massive fist, his gaze fixed on its owner. Ian says, Boss, we're not looking for trouble, but this hand needs to be forged today. Otherwise, he won't leave. Now name a fair price. Let's not make this ugly. A flicker of surprise crosses Hermite's eyes. He didn't expect his punch to be caught so easily, but it's gone in an instant. Humph. Good cop, bad cop, huh? It doesn't matter either way. Someone's gonna hit the deck here. And with that, Hermite swings another fish straight at Ian. Oh boy, this is action, right? Double action. That's it for Chapter 2. The middle of a fight? That was kind of weird. Weird spot to, I guess that's almost a cliffhanger, if you would. Yeah, but we've only been streaming for just a few moments, so we're definitely going to continue with Story 3 right here. We gotta find out what happens in this fight. Hopefully it continues from right there. Hermite was knocked down by Ian. Okay, so the last thing we saw was Hermite was swinging a fist at Ian, and now it says Hermite was knocked down by Ian. I wish it explained exactly what happened there. We don't see any of the characters. Hermite lies on the floor, clutching his nose and groaning, his pink hat now knocked aside. Wow. What the hell? That's a hell of a face. It looks like a big ol' freaking... What the hell is that? Okay, so his face is swollen and bruised. I can see that. He even got a tear coming out his eye. Dai raises an eyebrow. Well, looks like the boss hit the deck first. How's that for protection, huh? Is that good enough for you, buddy? Tears well up in Hermite's eyes. Hell, I get the rules. 50 silver shields it is. Now we're talking. See, that wasn't so hard, was it? Friendly deals mean repeat customers. Here, take the deposit. Dai shakes out the silver shields, counts them, and tosses them onto the counter. Half now, the rest when we check out the goods. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And then he crouches down and flashes a grin at Hermite. Boss, sir, I can trust you, yeah? No cutting corners, no extra surprises. A pro like you wouldn't want to make things hard for me, would you? Hermite shakes his head hard, eyes brimming with tears. Good. Then I'll rest easy. I'll definitely try your signature brew when we're back. The night one. Don't worry, I'll pay for it. Dai flashes a satisfied smile, shaking Hermite's hand with the severed hand. And then he stands up and walks out of the wine cellar with Ian. Damn, they messed this guy up, despite how tall he was. Not only is he tall, but he's really brawny. This is a thick dude. They just messed him up. I got respect for Dai Yi and Ian, huh? They navigate through the alley and back out onto the street. Dai Yi lets out a long breath and glances at his partner. Huh, that old swindler trying to rip me off? He doesn't know whom he's messing with. No way I'd come out here knowing the price. Without knowing the price. My boss would skin me alive if I slipped up. All right, you didn't get hurt, did you? He's so strong. Ian shoots him a look. Or not Ian, but Ian. Thanks. Took you long enough to ask. Come on, I'm just worried about you. Fine, next time it's my turn to worry about you then. How about that? Ian fires back and then pauses, realizing something. You said we'd come back for drinks in 2 weeks. Where are you getting the money for that? Ahem, well, I've got you here, don't I? Hey, you're the one who said you would buy me a drink. Forget that. I'm gonna grab some stuff. It's not every day we come to town. We can turn a profit by taking some goods back to the village. And before Ian can react, Dai Yi dives into the crowd. Ian wants to ask if Dai Yi is planning to dip into his boss's money, but Dai Yi's already gone. Shaking his head lightly, he considers finding a spot to nap, and then a knocking sound reaches his ears. Dong, dong, dong. Ian stops, and before he can focus, the sound comes again. Dong, dong, dong. This isn't an illusion. Ian hesitates for a moment, and then heads towards the source of the sound. Turning the corner, he sees the fountain square of Eastertown ahead. The poolside is crowded with people, and at its center stands a wooden stage as tall as 2 men. Guards clad in leather armor, wielding spears and shields, patrol around, occasionally shooing away those who get too close. A muscular man stands at the stage's edge, striking a large drum with the drumsticks. Dong, 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 and the thunderous beats that draw in passers-by, captivating their attention. And at the stage's center sits a huge cage crammed with people cloaked in tattered robes. Oh, it's that same cage, huh? Their faces and bodies are concealed, revealing only the iron rings and chains encircling their necks. Is this a slave auction? Ian stops. As an old man in black steps out into the wooden stage, the drumming stops. Ian stares at him for a long moment, and then his eyes widen. It's him, the black-clad escort from the slave cart. Carter Elder. Memories of last night's surreal encounter flood back, and Ian can't help but glance at the cage. Could the owner of that bracelet be in there as well? The old man slowly circles the area, giving a slight bow to the crowd, and then he walks to the cage, pulling someone out with a chain and shoving them to the front. People below rise to their toes and crane their necks. And with a swift motion, the old man yanks off the person's robe. In that very moment, Ian's heart tightens. But before Ian's eyes stands a short, slender man. His upper torso wobbles as the robe is yanked off, almost causing him to lose his balance. But the old man swiftly tightens the chain, steadying him. Then the man's head droops weakly. The man's hand bore neither bracelet nor markings. Ian lets out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding, unsure why he'd been so tense. The old man bows to the crowd again, then grabs the man's hair, forcing him to raise his head. Pain distorts the man's face. Esteemed gentlemen, lovely ladies, I'm your devoted servant, the Carter, and I'm here to extend my warmest greetings to you all. This is a carefully selected treasure. If it sparks any of your interest, it'd be our greatest honor. Look here, my lords. Take him home. For just 20 silver shields, or perhaps a bit more, you can own this slave and his loyalty. Yes, loyalty. They'll serve you with eternal devotion, even their own life. You'll be his master. You'll be his god. Come now, my lords. Your humble servant here awaits, ready to bow in the dirt, in the awe of your generosity and your greatness. And a bidder says, "What's all this crazy talk? Look at him. He's half dead. Won't even last a day, let alone do any work." "Ah, my lords, here's the thing. This man hails from Red Rock clan of the Banished Land. He might be an unfamiliar face around here, but he's quite common in the capital. Their blood is a treasure. It restores the vigor of youth, it eases wrinkles, and lets you relive a thrill of youth again. Isn't that a better deal than getting a brute for manual labor?" The man trembles violently at the old man's words. The crowd begins to whisper. "Really? Don't lie to us now." "Rest assured, my lords, doubt not our sincerity. This offering is guaranteed by my honor and my life." The chatter amongst the people grows louder. Soon someone shouts a starting bid, and another quickly raises it. Amid the old man's coaxing and the crowd's growing excitement, the price climbs through several rounds before settling with a merchant from Eastertown. The old man releases his grip on the man's hair, but the man doesn't lower his head. He stays frozen, staring blankly at the sky. The old man bows to the winning bidder. "Thank you for your generosity, my lord. Please accept the deepest respect from your most loyal servant. If you could spare a little kindness, it might extend his service to you, and you enjoy your purchase." And the old man claps his hands, and a guard steps forward, taking the chain from him. The man's legs buckle, barely able to stand, and he's half dragged off the stage. The old man turns back to the cage, pulling out the next slave, and the auction continues. This was Ian's first time standing so close to a slave auction. The agony and despair of the condemned, the elders' cold cruelty, and the crowd's numb greed filled him with a deep sense of unease. Unable to stop the evil, unable to save anyone, did his powerless watching make him part of the sin? Oh, so now he's going to feel guilty, huh? If there is a God, if his gaze truly falls upon this world, how could he allow such cruelty to exist? Maybe swift departure is the only escape from this overwhelming tide of emotions, but Ian's feet seem rooted to the ground. His gaze shifts to the cage, and a question surfaces in his mind again. Could that person be inside? If they don't show up until the end, then maybe they escaped. It was a self-deceiving thought, yet once that fragile hope took root, it began to grow beyond control. Ian's lips moved in silence. He prayed, even knowing it was a lie he told himself, that the owner of that bracelet would not appear at the auction. Thus, each time the old man tore away a robe, Ian's heart tightened, relaxing slightly when it wasn't that person, only to seize again at the sight of the condemned. As the number of slaves dwindle, Ian grows more tense, his fists clenched, his breath quickening. When only one person remains in the cage, Ian's heart races wildly. The drums strike up again. Dong, dong, dong. The crowd, fueled by rounds of bidding, hits a peak of frenzy and excitement. "Come on, the next one!" The person in the cage slowly rises. Dong, dong, dong. Ian's heart hammers as if trying to burst out of his chest, the drumbeats growing faster. A chain hangs around their neck, and the old man guides them out of the cage. This time the old man shows unusual patience, neither forcing nor rushing, allowing them to walk to the stage's center at their own pace. The old man steps forward, gripping the robe, but he doesn't pull it off immediately. The noisy crowd gradually falls silent, holding their breath in anticipation. So can you imagine this? Here is this old man selling these people, these slaves, if you would, to new owners in this town of Eastertown, or I think that's the name of the town. And could you imagine being one of these slaves? You're brought out in front of a big cheering crowd, and you have this old man. Basically, you're in chains, and your hands are probably chained together. You can't do anything, and you're brought out, and you have these like old tattered robes on you, and you're completely unclothed in front of all these people and sold for coins, if you would, sold to people, and basically you're going to be their slave and do anything they want you to do, no matter how hard the work or how grueling it might be, working out in the sun, whatever it is that they might have you do or use you for as a slave, even if it means you're going to be dead in a week, from whatever it is they might have you be doing, even giving your life, as he said. But here they are, like completely unclothing you, baring every inch of your bare body to be seen by the crowd and valued based on what they see. It just seems so cruel, But anyway, this is the last guy, and it's definitely causing Ian here to get really anxious. Dong, 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 dong. Yeah, you would even see that on these people. You would see their dong as they unclothe you. A buzzing fills Ian's ears, making it hard to tell if it's his heartbeat or the drums. Dong. The final beat strikes like a hammer, and the robe lifts. In a flash, something flickers. The metal bracelets rest on pale, delicate wrists, no longer shrouded in darkness or mystery, now glowing faintly in the sunlight. Ian is struck, his mind going blank. It's over, his prayers unanswered. The worst has happened. His gaze is fixed on the bracelets and what lies beneath them. But those white arms bear no patterns. Ian blinks, stunned. Is this not the one? But the bracelets. His thoughts are a tangleweb of confusion, and then it hits him. He was so focused on his hands he never saw the face. His gaze lifts. Later, Ian replayed this moment countless times, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't recall what he had seen in that split second. Oh damn. It's not a man after all. A fleeting dream and a shadow from another realm intertwined with his thoughts, fantasies, and his desires. Perhaps even the blinding sun above and the dancing spray from the fountain contribute onto this moment, solidifying into a tangible form. Her face, her eyes, and her lips, framed by ash-gray hair, stand out with breathtaking vividness. The bracelets, the patterns, whether she's the one, it doesn't matter. No, none of it matters. It's not her identity that counts, but her very existence. She stands there right in front of him. And Dai says, "Wow, she's stunning!" Dai slips in beside Ian, his voice snapping Ian back to reality. Next to the old man stands a slender girl with gray hair, her robe now discarded. An iron ring and chain hang around her neck. But these cold shackles only enhance her beauty, adding a touch of melancholy and mystery. The girl glances at the crowd, and then lowers her eyes. The crowd buzzes with excitement. A stunning beauty from the unclaimed land. And need I say more? My lords, let's proceed. It's like a drop of water hitting boiling oil, with bids pouring in one after another. So bids are just pouring in now. 200 silver shields! I'll pay 200, says bidder 1. They've lost their minds. Starting this high? Most folks couldn't save that much in a decade. So like I said, yeah, 1,000 of these silver shields is an enormous amount of money. Because Dai's saying right here that most folks couldn't save 200 in a decade. Ian says nothing. The oldster says, 200 silver shields, going once. 300! Oh, so we have 3. 350! 500, back off, she's mine. Holy, these people are nuts. Hug. The girl just stands there, eyes lowered, as if the auction has nothing to do with her. The bids hit 800. 800 silver shields going once. Are there any more bids from our generous patrons? 800 going twice. And bidder number 5 says, 2,000 silver shields. Our overlord offers 2,000. The crowd falls silent for a moment, and then whispers ripple through, but no one dares raise the bid. Upon hearing the word overlord, the old man's smile freezes, but he quickly replaces it with a more humble grin, bowing deeply. Thank you, my overlord. No gift could be more generous. This fortunate slave is now yours. As your most loyal servant, I present today's finest gift, a token of our deepest respect. We hope you like her, my overlord. Everyone's gaze shifts towards the bidder, and not far from him stands a bulky man with a large head, the very overlord of Eastertown. 2,000 silver shields? That's bold of him. But I bet he won't pay a single penny. Plenty of people lining up to kiss his boots. And the overlord's gaze locks onto the girl, his dark purple tongue flickering over his thick lips like he's already tasting her. Look at that beast. I heard he's got a house full of girls, just for him and his twisted, powerful friends to play with. And when they're done, they toss the bodies into the wild. Now she's in his hands. Who knows what he'll do with her? This poor girl. If it were me, I would just end it quick. Better than suffering and still meeting the same fate. I mean, he's got a point. Ian says nothing to this. Ian doesn't want to listen, but Dayu's words snake into his ears, poisonous and unescapable. His gaze is fixed on the girl. The wooden stage holds more than just the girl here, yet it feels like she's the only one there. She stands alone at the center, as if the world has turned its back on her now. This scene tears at Ian's heart. He knows that she's just a stranger, a fleeting encounter. He knows nothing about her, and she doesn't know him. He can't save her. He can't buy her freedom here, even if she cries out for help. She's no more pitiful than all the other slaves here. They're all just poor souls, none more deserving of life than the other. Ian understands all of this, yet his heart aches anyway. His mind stays clear, but he won't lie to himself about what he feels. This girl is different. Of course, the girl won't cry for help. She's too obedient and too fragile. The old man tugs the chain and she follows, head bowed. The overlord grabs her shoulder, and she's like a bird with clipped wings, her messy gray hair mirroring ruffled feathers, and in an instant she's shoved into the carriage and it disappears. Damn. The crowd lets out a disappointed cry. The overlord squeezes his bulky frame into the carriage. The land beast lifts its hooves, and the wheels start rolling. The ornate vehicle takes a turn and soon disappears at the end of the street. Ian drops his eyes, refusing to imagine what might happen to this girl. Like Day always says, the world treats everyone equally cruel. Souls that pass by can only struggle on their own, too worn to meddle in each other's fates. Dai scratches his face. Noticing Ian's distress, for once he doesn't mock his friend. Instead, he places an arm around Ian's shoulder and gives it a reassuring pat. Some things you just can't change. Let's go. They follow the crowd and leave the square. Ian doesn't recall how he left Eastertown, but he remembers Dai's arm shoving him forward, firm, insistent, and not letting him look back. So Dai did Ian a favor there, I think, by patting him on the shoulder and saying, hey buddy, we need to go. Move on. You know, you gotta get this girl out of your mind and all the cruel things that might happen to her from the overlord of Eastertown, this town they're in. And evidently he has a whole bunch of girls like this he's probably bought at auctions that he and his mates play with, and then once they're done, once they kill them, you can only imagine, guys. You can only imagine the sexual abuse that probably happens to these ladies that are sold at an auction like this. I mean, it sucks that in this world, women like this are sold for, obviously, you know, sexualization, sexual, what's the word? Sexual victims, if you would, and nothing more. These people don't care about it. These people will never care about the females themselves, the girls themselves. And, I mean, with that, you can also think that kids at sometimes would be sold at an auction like this. And sold for just as cruel things, but also sold to slave their asses off until they meet their fate. Yeah, this is definitely a cruel world, and I think the music, the sad music during that whole girl getting auctioned, tells you the story and fits the mood and the grim reality of this game of what we're reading here perfectly. I like this visual novel, guys. We're gonna keep these episodes pretty short here, and I think we're gonna come to a stopping point here. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. I definitely like this visual novel. Remember, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go in and buy this game yourself, play it through yourself, and there's different modes of this as well. There's a story mode, which I'm reading, and there's a game and story mode where you play, I guess, a deck of hands at the end of every chapter or story to add that element into it if you want some gameplay and not just story. So, guys, let me know what you guys think of the Forsaker story here. Pretty good visual novel. I noticed this is this developer's first visual novel, first game on Steam. So I think it's pretty good, and I'm intrigued and interested to see what happens with Ian and Dai, and even the girl now. You know, are they going to go back for the girl, or is Ian going to be able to get this girl out of his mind? Because the way he looked at her, and the way his feelings were moved by her, it almost seems like he might, you know, want to go seeking her out or trying to save her or whatever, even though it said that, you know, he told himself he couldn't save her. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Somehow, I feel like this girl, in one way or another, is going to come back into the story. So, we'll see what happens, guys. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Zax29, and we'll see you in part 3 of my playthrough of Forsaker, DingDing Blade here real soon. Peace, everybody. Have a good one.